Hello, welcome to Working with Miniatures. I'm Jim, and tonight we're going to be painting the pirate city of Brinewood from Reaper Miniatures Reaper Bones Black Line. We'll be primarily using Army Painter speed paints and war paints. Let's get started. These miniatures are primed with an airbrush using Vallejo's matte black, followed by zenithal sprays of Vallejo gray and then Vallejo white. For this project, pretty much everything is a shade of brown, with the crates and barrels being darker than everything else, with the idea being that perishable containers were stored out of the sun. The base coat for the crates and barrels are done with hardened leather, followed by a shading of hardened leather mixed with dark wood. The remaining wood for the boat, tables, dock, chairs, and cart is done with pallid bone mixed with sand golem. I'll be up front on this one. I really thought that with everything being wood, this would take a day or two at the most. However, due to the amount of items in this set and my decision to only use a brush outside of priming, it took significantly longer than anticipated. What I assumed would be a stress-free breeze turned into an arduous and monotonous task of slapping the same few speed paints over many different yet similar miniatures. Once everything is dried to the touch, I take it outside and hit it with Dust Tester's Dull Coat Matte Varnish, and once dry again, I start on the metal, laying down a base coat of night scales. While that sets, I add strong tone to all the wooden items to define the grooves. Normally I use Army Painter's Regiment brush for most base coats or metallics or washes, and then a Winsor & Newton Series 7 size 2 brush for any work with acrylics. However, on this project I use the Army Painter's Monster brush and small dry brush. Since the lighter wood has pallid bone in it already, I wanted to lighten the skeleton more so it would stand out, so I mixed Holy White with pallid bone to differentiate it some. The result was very close to the color of Malignant Green speed paint. You can see where I had some reactivation issues where I'd gotten a little pallid bone on the scales and tried to cover it with more white primer. I could have re-varnished and then painted over it again, but I decided that the yellowish hue would help come through and add a little variation to the green speed paint over it. I mixed more Holy White with the colors used for the hair and flesh, with the idea that this wooden mermaid was painted and then after years left exposed in the sun, it's begun to fade. If you were wondering that I was aiming for the Ariel look from The Little Mermaid, then yes I was, although it may be a little morbid with her tacked up to the wall like a trophy, though that's no more morbid than my idea to bring a large pot of venison stew to my next work luncheon with a sign next to it. For 81 years America has kept Bambi in our hearts, now we can keep him in our stomach. To finish off the wood, I lightly dry brush troll claws along with the edges and upraised sections. The metal is then finished with a light stippling of rough iron followed by an edge highlight of gunmetal, and finally the fabric is done with a mix of Grey Lord Grey and Holy White. This is the final result. For lessons learned, for large box sets like this, I need to break this up into multiple videos or work on this slowly over the course of a month or two on top of other videos. Just because I'm using a less variation in colors of paint doesn't mean I'm painting it any faster, unless of course next time I use the airbrush. I still haven't tried using speed paints in an airbrush, so I'm interested in seeing how that would turn out, and for the spare sail on the bottom of the boat, I should have also painted that with Grave Lord Grey and Holy White mix, to match the rest of the fabrics on the miniatures. It's going to wrap it up for today. I hope you learned something or were inspired to start or expand your own collection. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and if you like the content of this video and would like to see more, please like, share, and subscribe. I'm Jim with Working with Miniatures. I'm truly grateful for your time, and I bid you a fond farewell. Till the next video.